Hi, Misha here, and, well, you read titles, at least I presume so you know what this is about. The just released from the Star Wars Black Series, the 6-inch Endor Rebel Commando. And while I've not really been doing much with the Star Wars stuff the last few months, mostly because nothing new's really come out, repaints and reissues, which is fine, but nothing new. This was one they announced last year that they've never done anything like before. And so I was really wanting to get him. And looking at a couple of early reviews from folks, they seemed a little disappointed. Especially comparing him with the Hoth Rebel Trooper. So I maybe was kind of tempering my expectations. But actually getting him in hand, I'm not at all disappointed. Okay, one minor thing. So yeah, we'll talk about who the Rebel Commando is and what I think of this figure here. The Rebel Commando is a commando. More officially, the Pathfinders. This was known as the Endor Strike Team. Depending on exactly which chronology and if you go canon or legends, it's said that these were often picked from, and they were all volunteers, and they were picked from survivors of Endor, so Hoth Troopers. And there were 12 of them, plus the command crew. And there were a couple of majors, lieutenants, sergeants, corporals. And they had pretty, temperate weather fatigues. They had boots, gaiters, camo pants. They were kind of cargo pants. A long sleeve t-shirt, and then kind of a vest over that. And then kind of a low riding backpack. And then a soft brimmed hat. Well, semi-soft, you know what I mean. Cloth. And yeah, we see these on the Shuttle Tydirium. They rendezvous and meet up, have their own antics, and presumably, majority of them survive the battle. But they took out the shield generator, and they came in pretty well armed and equipped. Their main guns were a little different. Some had the traditional DH-17, which this figure does come with, the Rebel blaster pistol. These were meant for close range. They were actually quite accurate. And many had a rifle. Call it the A280 or A280C. We see a version of this used on Hoth, although the version we saw in Return of the Jedi is a little different than the one we saw in Empire Strikes Back. And that's my one gripe with this figure. They gave him the same Rebel rifle as the Hoth Trooper and a couple others. That's okay. I mean, the differences are pretty small and maybe not worthwhile in a mold this small. But I was really kind of hoping to get a new blaster. One guy, though, was even seen with an E11. So it kind of varied. One thing they almost all had, and you see it on here, thermal detonators and other explosives, because hell, they're going to go blow up a generator. So he's kind of got everything here. And much like with the Hoth, the faceplate comes off. This is the face he's in the package with. However, if you like the old man, well, you get that too. Here's our bearded old man face. Back in the 80s, it was just an older guy, showing that these were volunteers and a bit of a ragamuffin group. Of course, in more recent times, it's been said that this is old Commander Rex, which is a cool bit of lore. So you can put that on if you want. Now, people complain, at least a few people, that this guy isn't as versatile as the Hoth Trooper. I guess I get it, but I think his features are a little more subdued. In fact, let's bring out a Hoth Trooper. This is maybe the only figure I have two of. The reason is I found them really cheap. Figured I'd get an extra one. Notice he has the same guns. And his face is quite flexible. Yeah, you have the plate, although this particular one I've got pretty covered up. You can move goggles on his face or up, or just take them off altogether. And ditto with the kind of mouth cover. You can either have it up or flip it around and hang down, or just take it off altogether because the head pulls off. But those are the customizations, really. More to do with the head. Not so much on the body. And I think that's the deal where the Endor is a little better. His customizations, you only have two faceplates. No, they're not the exact same plate because the hat and everything makes a different shape. But let's start with the backpack. When you get him in the package, the backpack's not even attached. This is a fully realized backpack. By that I mean it has straps, even kind of hangy down buckles on the bottom, even a contoured back, has a hose on the side. I don't wonder what that's for. Not a lot of paint, or so I'm told, but it's an actual piece that goes on like a backpack. And compare that to our Hoth friend here. At first this looks like a fully realized backpack, but you can't really display him without it on, unfortunately. Because if you pull it off, you've got a peg right there. And moreover, the figure itself looks incomplete. The straps come around and go into nothing. That's okay, but it'd be kind of nice if they weren't flopping around, if you could either take them off, but I don't think you can. Yeah, they just go in. So it looks a little strange without the backpack on, and the backpack itself looks like a old school G.I. Joe backpack with a peg. It doesn't look real. And this one actually does. You could actually have him holding it or up against the display. It looks like a pack. Now, the one downside of this is it's just a piece of plastic. This one does have a small storage compartment in it here for the alternative face. It would have been nice if they had done that with this one. And I'm kind of curious why they didn't. Either way, yeah. You really can't display the Hoth with the pack off. Not real well. But this one, yeah, sure. Next, you can take the bandolier off our Endor friend. On the upper part, we have charges. And on the lower part, we have just a pouch. Again, for customization, it might be something. And this just comes right off. So, yeah, you can... Of course, you can always put the backpack on and take that off. So he's more stripped down here. Now, I will admit, it's a shame he doesn't have a holster. This guy has a holster on his leg for the DH-17. But I'm not sure if in the film, Return of the Jedi, this guy had a holster. Guys, you can see, let me know. Imagine how much lighter he is now. And finally, if you really wanted to, you can take his little vest off. I'm not going to pull it off, but you can put it back. It's just kind of floats on there. And with it off, you might even be able to find a way to get his little belt with a canteen on it off, but yeah. But for all intents and purposes, this is more stripped down him right here like this. So that's kind of neat, because it is a lightweight forced thing. And just for fun, since he does come with the DH-17, here it is in his hand. He holds it fine. He's very flexible. Not really loose. In fact, my Hoth guy has more of a loose waist going on. That's okay though. So that's just a few ways you can customize him, and I'm sure customizers can do even more. So I think there's potential with him. And frankly, it's just nice to have another Rebel kind of army builder soldier type. We have so few, honestly. We have, of course, the Hoth. We have the original Fleet Trooper from A New Hope. And we have the Resistance Trooper from the new films. I'm trying to think which one. I know they were in Force Awakens. They might have been in others, but I'm not sure if they were in more. We just don't get that many. Usually, for the good guys, if we get a character, it's a named character. And that seems like a good enough segue. So the stolen Imperial Shuttle Tadirium, had 12 of these guys in the back, more or less uniform. And then in the front, we of course had our command crew of our heroes. Yeah, I didn't grab a Chewbacca, sorry. There's not an Endor Chewbacca, because it's just Chewie. And, yeah, the set together. How do they look? That means basically if you count the 4 in the front, you get a strike team of 16 supported by 2 droids, which, yeah, is about the capacity of that type of Lambda shuttle. And what's neat is with this, you can kind of do the same scene with Hoth. You have the Trooper Hoth, and then of course you have Hoth, Luke, Leia, and Han. It's doing the whole setup. Here's Endor Luke again. You know, it's funny, when I got the 6-inch Black Series, comparing to the 3 3/4 I had as a kid, they seemed big. But after having messed with the NECA, which are 7-inch scale, but many of them taller, these seem slightly small. But yeah, he obviously is wearing a very similar hat to the Commando, but he gets a poncho instead of a backpack. I wish the Commando had a poncho. Of course, underneath he's wearing his own kind of just black garb. This one just comes with a lightsaber. I do wish he had a hook on his belt for it. It's my only real gripe. And that's all he really comes with. So I gave him the Palace Blaster, as it used to be called when I was a kid. I think it's the DL-18 now. This actually did come with a Luke, but it's actually the Jabba's Palace Luke, or the Jedi Knight, so I don't know, gave it to this guy. But a lot of Rebels actually have this blaster. I actually like it. It's a neat little blaster. So yeah, he's the commander in the mission. Why not? And of course, now we have Endor Leia, which is another neat one. I think it's probably my favorite Leia figure. Poncho again, cap. But she only comes with the Princess Blaster. The long one here. Honestly, it's a little incorrect for the indoor scenes, because the one they used in Return of the Jedi was the same pistol but shortened. So I might take one of these and chop the barrel down a bit. We'll see. But it was actually in universe a sporting gun more than anything else, so it's not a military gun. And because it's more of a backup thing, I gave her this. This is an A280 CFE, which is a modular version of the A280. I believe it's a Covert Field edition. This actually came off Endor figure. Endor figures are so cheap once, I just bought a couple to scavenge for parts, because you could get them for like $7. And in some ways this is closer to the gun we see in Return of the Jedi, because it's very much based on an AR-15, but in other ways it's not. I could see giving one of these to the Rebel Commando, though. And I gave it to her because it actually gives her a military gun, and it's a little smaller and lighter than the standard 280. The 280 bolt gun is quite heavy. This one's neat because it's able to be turned into a pistol. And even the little toy version here, you can pull the stock and the barrel shroud off. So, cool beans. Cool. I think it matches her quite well, though. And of course, underneath, she's wearing her general or officer's regalia. Again, she gets a neat little poncho. Very much matches Luke. And then we have the commander. Endor Han. Maybe my favorite Han, too. I like Hoth, but... And of course, who doesn't like the original? But the trench coat. And this was a optional standard piece of kit that the commandos could use, a camo coat. Kind of wish he had a hat. Of course, he did in the film, but I don't know. It would match a little better. Of course, he's got his traditional DL-44 under here. And earlier versions of Luke had this as well. It was a pretty standard Rebel blaster. That's all he came with, the coat and that, so I gave him a 280. This is the standard version. But now that I have the Endor Commando with one, I might transition them over to an E11, because some of the guys had that. I don't know. That's the fun thing of messing around with these. I'm not a strict person. I like having them set up in different little ways for fun. I'm not into recreating the film verbatim. I kind of like doing my own thing. And of course, my military history background and degree and firearms thing means I'm trying to be pretty fun with it. But yeah, his coat's pretty sweet. One of the coolest pieces of cloth goods in the series. It's funny, as he wasn't originally the general in charge of the mission, because he was frozen. The original leader, I believe he was a major, was actually killed on an operation shortly before Endor. And there was another guy about to step in. But then they unthawed Solo here, promoted him from captain to general, which meant he actually technically outranked Luke, which seems a bit much, but okay. And he ostensibly led the mission. Kind of be neat if he had some charges. If I had an extra Endor bandolier, I think it'd look good on this guy with the charges on it. Again, not movie accurate, but why not? I don't like doing permanent mods, but non-permanent ones, enjoy. The hair. The Harrison Ford hair. And here's our Endor Commando again. I put everything back on him. See, the gun fits in both hands quite well. I put the blaster using that hose. I wonder if that hose is meant to be a rope. But it fits really well on his backpack there. You'd think on a commando mission you'd want to bring two guns because you can't go resupply. Like I said, these 280s were known for being powerful, long range, but also heavy. And having a lighter, compact gun might be good. I don't know, might leave it there. What do you think? But yeah, everything goes together really well. I'm actually really digging this guy. I think I picked him up at full price, which was what, $35, $39? If I find these cheaper, that's what happened with the Hoth. I bought the Hoth guy regular price, which was I think $29 then, but then I found them on sale for $18, so I bought a second one. I could definitely see myself buying a second one of these if I found them for under $30 and putting a little bit different stuff on him and using the other alternative face. The whole thing about the old man being Rex, of course, is a pretty modern retcon. But you know what? It's all fiction. I'm there for it. Rex is cool. The clones are cool. And saying that he was there to kind of give the finger to the Emperor one last time, that's what Rex would have wanted. And also seeing The Return of the Jedi. Rex would have wanted that too. But all in all, no. Maybe because the couple of reviews already out there have my expectations low. Getting this guy in, I was pretty stoked about. And after messing with him for a couple of days now, I'm not disappointed. Again, I wouldn't have minded a slightly different gun, but when you look at the 280, the 280C, or the 295, as some people call those, all those different types, yeah, there are changes on film, but that's, a full-scale prop. When you go to, this 1 in 12 scale, I don't know how much of those differences would really carry over, and would it be worth doing a remold. Yeah, we get the same blaster and everything, but we get a whole new backpack, whole new figure. I don't think there's any real reuse with him. We get 2 new face sculpts. We get new bandoliers. So if they needed to save a little coin, a little bit of tooling with the guns, I understand. I do. They're going to split up and rendezvous at the bunker at 0300. And they did. Fun fact, these commandos actually took one of the scout troopers and stole his armor and posed as a scout trooper briefly before the counteroffensive. Of course, they would end up having fun with the Ewoks. It's a whole thing. Yeah, a lot of fun here. And that's really what it's all about. And, I have to be honest. I don't hate Ewoks. In fact, I was about the right age when Return of the Jedi came out to really like Ewoks. In fact, my first cat was named Ewok, although that was kind of my mom's suggestion because she said her face looked like a little Ewok. She was kind of gray and had a pudgy face and little ears, and had that cat for almost 21 years. Anyway, an Ewok video is probably going to come sometime soon. But yeah, the Rebel Commando. What do you think? And which face? We're going to throw the other one out. Here it is. Which face would you go with? I bet most people will do the old man face, the beard. I get it, but this is what he came with. And these they peg on in the back. They're a little hard to get to. I'll probably use a plastic pick to get under with that so I don't scratch it. But this is how it came in. So I'll probably just wait till I get a second one and use that face there. Maybe display him without the backpack. Maybe take his bandolier off and give that to Han. I don't know. Have fun. Give him a different gun. Oh, they also had a couple of E-Web heavy repeaters with them and a couple of little pieces of artillery. I mean, in a perfect world, it'd be cool to have all 12. But, good God, that would get expensive. Even if you got them on sale, you're looking at like $300. So, pass. So, yeah, haven't done a Star Wars video in a bit. This seemed like a good one to do. Let me know what you think. Appreciate you hanging out with me today, and I best get back to work. The boss says so. I'm self-employed. So there we go. This is Misha. Catch you very soon. Next time. Yeah, we're going to do that. And if you're lucky, I'll even talk about the Ewok cartoon. Yay.